Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 21st Plimpton Board of Selectmen meeting. Happy holidays to everyone. Just a quick reminder, this meeting is being recorded for cablecast and YouTube presentation by Area 58 Community Access Media. And we're asked to remind everyone that the video of this meeting is not to be considered an official public document. We have a reporter from the Halifax Plimpton Express here as well, and we're very glad to have the opportunity for this information to get out to the general public. So I think we're going to have a relatively brief meeting, just because it's the holidays and it's the time of year. We think a little bit about values and gifts and things to be grateful for. I thought maybe I would just review the ground rules that we have skipped for many weeks because we've all heard them. Just because I think they are useful in reminding all of us of how we like to go about things, but I think underneath them all, maybe they also kind of give hints at what our underlying values are. And in a holiday season, it seems like a nice way to start before we jump into the stuff at hand. So the ground rules that we have generally agreed to over the last while, we certainly try to practice patient urgency, a certain way of doing the work before us with certainly some sense of urgency, but an overlay of patience. We do have a parking lot for issues that may come up, but that aren't on the agenda or there isn't time to fully address. We don't want to lose anything along the way. We certainly try to practice some time awareness where all of us have things to say, but hopefully we can say them succinctly so that everyone has a chance. In particular, we have tried over the last year and a half or 2 years to work hard at practicing civility and a certain kind of civil discourse that encourages people, that welcomes people to town hall rather than pushes them away. And then lastly, albeit we fully recognize the seriousness of the work before us, we know that that doesn't necessarily exclude some joy and laughter as part of the way we do our thing. So is everyone in agreement on those ground rules tonight? Any ground rules anyone would like to add tonight? Okay.
No.
So, next we'll go to a moment of silence to be used any way we like, maybe to just prepare for the meeting, maybe to just enjoy a time without words, maybe a chance for gratitude in any number of ways. So again, welcome everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll be meeting tonight, short of catastrophes that come up. We will actually have a day off next week, and it's probably much appreciated and much needed. So the agenda has been put out there. Anything anyone would like considered as an addition to the agenda? Okay. Off we go. First order of business, consider the request made last week to videotape Finance Committee and Public Safety Buildings Committee meetings. So we received last week, as we all know, petitions from concerned citizens asking us to take a look again at our decision or at the request that we record them. I guess I'll comment first. I think we had all agreed that albeit that there were good reasons to record them, we also thought there were good reasons not to. In that there have been enough citizens that have made this request, I am glad to reconsider, and I would be in favor of giving a try at recording these meetings and see what comes up.
Speaking for the public safety building, I did tell the committee about this possibility, and everyone was certainly willing to acquiesce to this request. obviously we'd have no choice if the Board of Selectmen decided that. I would like to say that it did come up that there's a freeness of conversation in a meeting that's not taped, which it doesn't mean that, you know, we don't want people to know what's going on. We're all in favor of open meetings. But in the Public Safety Building Committee meetings, for example, I've got advisors sitting over there, and they may have these little conversations that come up with a good idea. Well, if we're taping, they're not gonna be able to do that because it limits the sound that goes out on the tape. And, again, perfectly willing to do that and give it a try. But I just want people to know that there are reasons to not do it, too.
No, I'm in favor. When we met with the Board of Assessors, you know, we talked about the possibility of down the road trying to videotape more meetings, and that was several months ago that we talked about that. So, you know, it is the direction that we were considering heading anyway, and I certainly support this. It's just, the only issue that I really have is the way that this came down, that I certainly appreciate the petition, but there are other things that are a higher priority. I mean, this is certainly a priority. It's not something that we have to do tonight. We do have time. FinCom isn't meeting yet. And I just had an issue with, I feel like I'm being manipulated, and I really don't like that or appreciate that. I mean, this is something that I was considering anyway, and I think that we were gonna bring it up again first of the year. But I just don't like feeling that, you know, things are being forced down my throat. But, you know, I think it's a great idea anyway, and I was supporting it. I just don't like the way that it happened. That was
And
my only issue.
Speaking of the petition, the town clerk did ask me if she needed to verify that because it was a citizen's petition. She was going to look into whether or not she legally had to do that.
I don't think we
So,
legally
but-
have to do that. I mean, this is something we were gonna, you know, considering doing anyway. It's just, I want, you know, we prioritize the agenda and the issues that we deal with. And my priority is always financial issues, that, you know, anything that we can save money to residents, those are my highest priority. And while videotaping is a priority, it's not an A priority for me. And I'm really focused on the regionalization and us trying to get these community compacts to try to get money into the town to save our residents some tax dollars and possibly, you know, find other sources to address issues that we have. But like I said earlier, I mean, this is something that I supported anyway. I just felt like the way that it was handled was not best for us.
All right, I'll have some more comments, but Art, please,
No, if you'd like to comment.
Go ahead.
Quite honestly, I was unable to attend the 11:30 meeting of the Board of Selectmen, and I watched it on television. Now,
11:30, what meeting was at 11:30?
November 30.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant 11:30 at night. I'm
No,
like,
no,
well,
no,
geez,
no.
I wasn't at that one.
You know, I try to help a lot of seniors in town. Even though, you know, being 29 years old, I'm not one yet. But I saw the Board of Selectmen vote 3-0 against it. Now, I will flash back to a town meeting, that was last town meeting, the one before, which we tried to move town meeting to a Saturday, because our seniors don't like to go out at night. It's unfortunate, it's just the way it is when they get older. Now, probably 35, maybe 40% of our population, our voting population, are seniors in this town. And I think that openness and transparency is important. There's a lady that I've helped. I've had to tell her when these meetings are. She can't see. She has trouble with mobility. She can't get down here. I know the meetings are open. She can't do it. So, and there's a lot of others out there. There's a lot of other seniors that I talk to. And let's be considerate of them too. Not being stuffed down your throat. No, this was our democracy at work that somebody took the liberty to get a petition together. That's the way it works. That's what Mark is talking about. With the civility and the way that we do it. It was brought to the board's attention. We went to, on the Public Safety Building Committee, Mr. Weichel and I went to the Finance Committee meeting because I thought we needed to know where the money was, how much we had to spend. There was one other citizen at that meeting. The room was full. Harry, me, one other citizen, that's it. Room was full. I've been to other FinCom meetings, the room is full, it's overflowing, they're out in the town clerk's office. So, all I'm saying is, come on, let's look at Civics 101 here and try to be open to all our population, even those that are visually or mobility impaired that might not be able to come. Let's let them listen, even if they can't see it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Art, and just to respond, the way that this was originally presented was that, the line was, hopefully this will dispel any improper vetting rumors. And I took exception to the fact that this was happening because of rumors, which I don't think are really true anyway. So, had this happened, had John just said, the budget is a really complex process. It would really be helpful to residents, seniors and residents, just to have the meetings videotaped so people had a better understanding of the process. If it was just that, I would have said, yeah, that is a great idea, because I support that. But the negative undertones, I really took exception to that. And that and I don't think there are rumors. I think that it was just kind of an undertow, but I do support it, and it is a complex and confusing process. And the more transparency, which we have strived for here, and communication, I think, is key, and for people to understand the process. And when they go to town meeting, they know how FinCom made their recommendations, because they saw, the background work.
And the more that, even with public safety, it let people just see what's going on, let them hear. Worst case with taping the FinCom meetings, for those insomniacs that are out there, it may put them to sleep.
That is true. That is true. They aren't that exciting, but,
I won't belabor this too much. If there were any sense that this board isn't and hasn't worked for absolute openness and transparency, then that's just plain misinformation. I have only been involved in this town's politics for a few years, but it wasn't so many years ago that the vast majority of the work got done behind closed doors in ways that probably were totally inappropriate. So I totally stand by the degree to which we have worked to foster and nurture openness and transparency. And our initial concerns about publishing or filming these meetings had nothing to do with trying to thwart openness and transparency. I do have to say, in this discussion, there has been kind of an undertone that just totally irritates the hell out of me, which is that because some of us weren't in favor of filming, that somehow we weren't thinking about the senior citizens. And one of the reasons I am thrilled that we will film these meetings, that if anyone has the patience to sit through those meetings, what they will have is a chance to see the degree to which the committees involved, as well as this board, have fostered transparency, that we are hardworking boards and committees, and that probably the number one concern of each of these committees and boards has been a deep concern for our citizens, for the tax rate and the effect on it. So what I do decry is that kind of undercurrent that's been out there, if not downright misinformation about who cares most about the seniors of this town. Because I think, well, because that would be misinformation. All right, I think we have each had a chance to make our point. I am willing to vote on this tonight unless you're feeling.
I really, I would prefer that FinCom has the opportunity to have one meeting off camera. They've got 2 new members. They kind of need to talk about the ground rules. They're really not going to be setting, talking about budgets that first meeting. I think we need to kind of give them an opportunity to get organized and then, start taping after that second meeting. So, I mean, that's just what I would like. I mean, you've got 2 brand-new people on there, and, they're gonna be nervous about being videotaped, and they're new to the Finance Committee. And I just think that it might be nice for them to kind of just have one meeting, just to kind of get their feet wet, and talk about what, just initially get organized, and then, go from there. But if you want to start from the very beginning, that's fine too, but we do have logistics we need to work out with, do they meet the same time we do?
They do.
If they do, who's gonna videotape?
I have checked with Studio 58, and they are feeling like they will have the equipment and the manpower to pull it off. Exactly how that all gets published on the, published is probably the wrong word, exactly how the video gets shown and how the schedule will change on the TV broadcast isn't clear yet. Presumably, all of those meetings will also go on YouTube on the computer. We'll get there much faster. I fully understand as well, because this keeps coming up, that some seniors aren't computer literate, and that is unfortunate, but at least the stuff will be getting out there. I hear you on your waiting one more meeting. Frankly, I think my inclination, though, is since this has all come up, just getting on with it.
No, that's fine.
I did check with the chair of the Finance Committee, and they understand that this might be something coming down the line.
Okay.
And they're ready for it.
Okay, all right, good. As long as, they're up to it, that's fine. We may, depending on attendance, have to do a little bit of meeting room changes too, but, we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
And I checked with the chair of finance on that too, and they're gonna start out as they were, as they are. And if there's need, they'll work with it, they'll work with us.
Perfect.
We'll take the next step. One other point I wanna make, and actually this is a little bit subtle, but not so subtle, and Colleen brought it up last week. And one of our concerns, I think, has been that maybe the best way for citizens to be involved and maybe to be helpful is actually to be at these meetings, that it is the back and forth that we don't get. And there are actually other ways for some communication here. I think we have 3 very accessible Board of Selectmen. Anyone that has anything that they want to bring up can get our emails from Bree. I will sit here and say that my cell number is 781-264-1220. And not to belabor this, but in years past, when dear Joe Freitas was alive, I would occasionally have to call him. Before I was a selectman, I could talk about anything I wanted. When I was a selectman, we had to obey open meeting laws, and so at most it was about agendas. But I would always start the conversation, hey, Joe, as a courtesy, as many of us do, is this a good time to talk? And Joe would always say, for the town, 24/7. For the town, 24/7. So we are here 24/7, and my cell is there. All right, that's my little tirade. So I make a motion that we give a try for the time being at videotaping the Finance Committee and the Public Safety Building Committee meetings.
Okay, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
this
you'll
is
work out the
beginning January?
logistics?
Beginning in January, and you're going to take care of it?
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
I mean, I will be in touch with Studio 58, and, it's not impossible that there'll be some logistic issues, but But I will let them know, and this stuff will be on, and good viewing, everyone. It's, sir.
Quick question, Mr. Chairman. Does this in any way affect your previous decision to not film the assessors?
I think the motion was made, it didn't have that in there, and I think that's the appropriate place right now. I think that's a whole other discussion that could be brought up at some time, but, look, I think ultimately, we are not so far away in the bigger picture that either this room or the bigger meeting room someday is going to be wired with cameras, with microphones, and it may well be in the not-so-distant future that every meeting is going to be videotaped, and maybe not on TV, but be on the computer. And that's the way we're going, and I think it's just fine. Some of it's just plain a matter of style and how we like to get work done, as Ms. Joy alluded to. We'll continue to do our best with that.
One step at a
civility.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
We're
So-
definitely heading in the right direction.
Now, we already spent another 20 minutes on that. Luckily, what we get to go to next is really cool. Class 2, Class 3 licenses.
Okay.
All right. So what do
All
we
right, how
have
do you want to
first?
do these? You want to do them one
One
by
at a
one?
time?
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we got LB's. How did they look?
So I somehow got tasked with visiting all the used car lots in town.
That's because we nominated you.
I will let everyone know I did it at 3 a.m. because then I figured I could know which were cars that might be for sale and which were employee cars. And I spent the whole time wondering when the police were going to find some nutcase out at 3 a.m. counting cars in various used car lots. All right, so Albies. There were a bunch of things here about vehicles not to be stacked. This is the Class 3 license, the junk license.
Right.
Vehicles not to be stacked, not to be within 6 feet of the boundaries. In my review of the premises, I didn't see any. I saw that they were in compliance on all these conditions.
Okay, for the class 2 and the class 3?
The Class 2,
It's probably behind it. It's behind it too, right? They're both there?
Yes, they're both
Okay.
there.
It's probably, okay, so that's the class 2. So the class 2,
conditions there were. Oh, God. Pardon?
That would be the number of cars.
the number of vehicles.
Yeah, the possibility of 15 for display, there were only 13.
Okay, well, that's Angel.
I
That's a
think that
different
was
one.
Angel. I couldn't tell. I don't think.
All right, so that's,
That's
here
the
it's a
class
class
2.
2, okay. No cars for display.
Right, and
Okay.
that's what there were. It was no
Perfect.
cars for display.
Okay,
All right. So I make a motion, anything you want to look at here? I make a motion that we approve Albies Class 2 and Class 3 license.
awesome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Shall we deal with signing these at the end?
Sure, we can sign them at the end.
All right, one down.
All right, this is Angels.
All right, Angel, the big thing was 15 cars for display,
Yep.
there were 13.
Perfect, okay. And you had already looked at, everything you said looked neat
Yeah.
and,
Absolutely.
neat, clean and orderly.
So I make a motion that this license be approved.
The Angels Auto and Towing?
Yep,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye. Okay, next we have Carry Auto.
Carry Auto, the main condition was a maximum of one car.
Correct.
And there was one.
Okay,
Make a motion, these, Carry Auto be, license be approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and Bree, these are all class 2, just,
Yeah, other than the Albies.
then
on
Albies that
there.
had the class 3.
Competition.
Competition.
Competition, all right.
All right, competition, no more than 25 vehicles for sale. Now, this one's kind of confusing because they have those vehicles for repair too.
Yep. I did my 3 a.m. check. There are certainly many more than 25 vehicles. I went down today and spoke with the proprietor, and many of those vehicles are owned by Enterprise Car
Yes.
Rental, which he is working on repairing. Not enough time in the day or room. In fact, he has a application before the planning board to enlarge his facility. Apparently, he's running 2 shifts as it is, but he's hoping to enlarge the facility. He and I actually walked the lot. He pointed out what were at most 16 cars that could be considered for sale. All the others are repairs.
Okay.
We did hear from a citizen with some concern about a couple wrecked, burned-out cars. They are far off the road. They're on the property that used to be Newcomb's. There is absolutely, from what I could see, no leakage of fluids or anything of the like endangering the river. At least one of those vehicles apparently is in the midst of legal stuff and can't be moved until that gets resolved. Complicated. I came away from my discussion with the sense that he was well within the limits of his conditions.
Okay,
So I make a motion
all
that,
right, Art's got a,
I stopped down there the other day, this weekend, and I think I lost count at somewhere around 75 vehicles on the property. It's a lot. There is a whole lot, and there's a whole lot less now because he had bucket trucks out there that he brought in. I'm sorry, I think that's a little bit over the top down there, with the bucket trucks, the burned out wrecks, and the junk that he's had down there. It's a little out of control in my opinion. 75 vehicles on the premises now, not including the Pennsylvania license plates, the Florida license plates, and all the rest of the stuff. I excluded that.
I hear you, and I was concerned about it, and that's why I went down today and spoke to him. I was comfortable in my conversation that, this license, or this part of the license, he's an auto repair place, and the part of the license that we are approving today is to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles. So that, what we are approving today, I think he's well within his limits. If there are other issues, he's willing to come in and talk to us. There could be zoning or public health issues. In terms of a license to buy and sell motor vehicles, I believe he's in compliance.
yeah, I'm not sure if that would be more of zoning enforcement. I don't know if we have any bylaws.
I mean, it could be explored. I think it,
Yeah.
I think, I'll get into trouble on this, but I think I'll say it anyway. I think we have to balance, certainly fulfilling regulations and restrictions. Any businesses we have in town are an important piece of the tax rate, and to the degree that we can be friendly and supportive of a business, I think we need to be. That in no way is belittling the need to fulfill all requirements. So, but I think balancing all of that, I was content with what I heard.
Well, and he's met all the requirements, and Roger is a really good guy, and I think that if, we have an issue that, and we bring it to his attention, that he'll work with us if there's, if there's a problem.
I think if there's an issue, it can be discussed further. In terms of the license, I'm okay approving it. So I make a motion that the competition auto body Class 2 buy-sell license be approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
All right, motorsports. So this one is Mike Trues, maximum of 15 vehicles,
Motorsports.
72 County Road.
Oh, yeah, 10 vehicles on 3 AM.
Okay, all right, so. that is
Make a
good.
motion that this license be approved.
All right, for motorsports, a Class 2 license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This is Plimpton Cycles.
All right, Plimpton Cycles, and this is for 10 motorcycles.
10 motorcycles on display at one time. There are 19 motorcycles inside the building. I understand display, as it's written up for the other ones, are vehicles or machines outside. There are none outside this time of year. I am remembering back to the summer, and I doubt
Right.
there were more than 10. And again, we can look at that again in the summer when more are out there. So I make a motion that the Plimpton Cycles license for renewal be approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Plimpton Sand and Gravel.
All right, Plimpton Sand and Gravel. This is 5 cars for display.
Plimpton Sand and Gravel, it didn't appear to be, all the cars there were, and trucks were licensed at the time. It didn't appear to be there were any for sale.
Okay,
So motion that Plimpton Sand and Gravel Class 2 license be approved.
Second.
Plimpton Service and Repair.
God, I haven't said so
All right.
much in months.
all in
This is-
favor?
What do we
Aye.
got? Aye, oh, all right.
On,
I was
Plimpton
off on
Sand and Gravel.
commentary already here.
Do you want to say all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. All right, last one, we have got Plimpton Service Center, 280 Main Street.
Yep.
And no vehicles to be parked to obstruct traffic, no more than 6 unregistered vehicles.
And I counted unregistered vehicles, where'd that go? I had 3,
Okay,
so make a motion that the Plimpton Service Center license, Class 2 license be renewed. All those in favor?
Aye. okay. All right, so the class 2s and 3s are all done.
Yes, plus this one pending.
Okay, Rantuccio?
Yes.
Okay.
And that one, we're waiting on more stuff?
To speak to Barb Carl.
Okay, so the business license, part of it, okay.
Okay, so we'll remember tonight to
To sign
stay
those.
after class and sign all the documents. Okay, Community Compact Projects document, I think that goes over
Yes,
toward you.
that is the document that I emailed both of you guys that outlines what the project is gonna look like for the community compact. And it looked good to me, it looked good to Susan Ossoff. The woman that I'm working with needs a response from us to try to get moving with this so that we can get some assistance for town meeting this year.
And,
I actually, could only pull up the front page on each of those.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it's only, I think, a 2-page document. It's not,
So when I tried to click to the next page, it gave me a message that said it wasn't available.
Okay.
let me give you my copy, because I have been able to open it. My major question is, and this relates to the timeline for this, which you may or may not know about, and actually, in particular, how it might relate to decisions with other boards and committees, particularly public safety. In that, there's a fair amount on here about, there's some about regionalization, but especially the capital improvement plan. And so do you have any sense of what kind of timeframe of getting any of this
I told her
done?
that was the highest priority, that's the thing we wanted to do first was, I had spoken with Susan Ossoff and she said, that would be their first priority and what would be most helpful with the issues that we're working at now. And she said, if you get this thing signed, then we should have that squared away by town meeting, that component of it.
Is the more information, from my perspective, since this is, a major issue with the public safety building, do we have time, the money to do one building or both buildings? The more information we can get, the quicker, the better. Having said that, I am in favor of signing this. Do you want some time to skim that over? Or,
It just spells out what each of the 3 areas is. So it's what the financial policies, they're gonna help us to develop financial policies, working with the treasurer collector, the town accountant, finance committee, us, Dale, to do that part of it. Then we're gonna do a 5-year capital improvement plan, and they're going to take the lead with that and help us based on what we've got going to come up with a 5-year plan for capital expenditures. So that part of it would be.
That's the 5-year financial forecast.
That's the 5-year financial forecast, and then there is, what's the last part of it?
Capital improvement.
The capital improvement, okay, yeah.
and I did notice there was in there the consultant, or bringing in a bond consultant as well, and it'd be really good to have that information, because if we do get to town meeting with an article, the bonding will be in there.
Well, it'll be nice to have someone to ask questions to and to give us some advice on how to proceed, with these big issues and whether it's best to, pay off the Dennett debt, or if the money is better spent doing this. It's just nice to have some guidance on
Absolutely.
these big issues that we have. And then once we have this plan in place, we'll be able to maintain it, or Finance Committee will be able to maintain it. It's just getting it all laid out. They'll work with us for that, and then they'll be responsible for maintaining it. But it'll help us plan for the
So we'll put
future.
in place a function to forecast it out the next year, every year. I mean, the 5-year plan isn't static, it changes.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll have to, it'll be a working document.
Right, okay, yes, a quick skim, this looks fine.
Okay.
I do want to comment, I think until I had read that, I had not fully understood the scope of this, and I am so excited about this. And it's why we did the DOR review of finances to begin with. And I'm not sure we've given full credit to all the work you've done to
Oh.
make this happen, your foresight to make it happen. I can be your campaign manager for that.
Okay, all right.
Nice work.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks.
So, shall we, motion, would you like to make the motion to approve or
Well,
sign,
it's
or-
just, it's their proposal, so I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal from the name of the group is on there. Collins, it's from.
Collins Center?
Collins Center, their proposal on assisting us with the Community Compact financial grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so I'll let her know that that looks good so that she can get the ball rolling to
Great.
get started with this.
Okay,
I'll just make a copy of that after.
okay. Town personnel, policy and procedure. Where should we start? Well, so the first item is discuss and possibly vote on the social media policy. I had there are a bunch of blanks where we have to write in Plumpton. There are a couple places where we had to write in the appropriate official. And I see you noted that,
Yeah, I noted that as well.
and you thought it should be Board of Selectmen on that one. Shall I share with you?
No, I haven't, this I have.
I didn't think printers could print that small.
You have to be really cheap and tell them to put it on.
Jeez, how can you even read it?
I don't wanna waste paper, so I put 2 pages on
That's
when.
amazing.
Yeah, no, I can read it.
So that was on page 1, approved by Board of Selectmen. On my page 2, the number, same thing. You had it as town coordinator, department heads. The official posting for the city will be done by, yeah, that's good. Yep,
Okay,
and then let's see if I had another one. My page 5, which was called media inquiries,
well, can we go back to 3?
yeah.
I don't think we have a computer usage policy. We have a electronic communication policy, but we don't have a computer usage policy, and I don't know if those would be kind of the same.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of this document doesn't really apply to us right now.
Not yet.
So we're planning ahead, and maybe we just,
So would that would be a policy that we'd need to adopt then, a computer usage? Because it says, yeah, the electronic communications, which you guys have that, you'd already done that.
So, what if we added sort of when available, in case we have one day?
Or we can just leave it and we'll just have to work on that.
Oh, God. We'll never get done with this.
Yeah, it's like every time we start, we do one, segues into another one. Okay, so you're,
I'm fine either way.
all right, so you're on 5?
I was, page 5, there was another insert on media inquiries. Town coordinators, good by me.
Okay,
And I think that's all I had.
I just wanted to add that town seal
yeah, the thing from where.
language about use of the town seal, and that, I thought made sense on page 2. Let's see, number 4, all city, town, social media sites shall adhere to applicable state, federal, and local laws, regulations, policies, including the public records law, copyright law, and other applicable city, town policies. And I didn't know whether, it would be appropriate to put the town seal information there.
Social media shall adhere to that. Is a separate article, or
Yeah, I guess it could be like 4A.
is that?
I mean, I don't even know if it really needs to be in there, because it looks like it's a general law that misuse of the town seal is a criminal act punishable by general law. So I don't know whether it would just might be beneficial just to put that.
Art?
Or it's gonna,
If I may offer a little insight into the use of the town seal. In the newsroom, in a newspaper that I worked for at one point, we used the town seal. I had the misfortune of going before the Braintree Town Clerk, and I was admonished that it is not legal to use. You may use it in a news story, but if there is any monetary gain attached to it, it's illegal. Now, I had vetted that through two of our law firms, and they were both wrong. So you may not use the town seal, that's against the law. So I learned that the hard way.
So is that
Are-
paragraph
what
simply added to this
yeah, we
document?
could, it says, you may not represent any site as a town of Plimpton official social media site. Use of the name and town seal are prohibited unless approved by the town administrator, which we'd have to do town coordinator, or his designee. Misuse of the town seal is a criminal act punishable pursuant to General Law 268, Chapter 268, Section 35. Any use where an employee or agent of the town speaks representing the town must be approved through the chain of command with prior permission granted.
I would put that on page 2 at number 10 or 11.
Okay,
I agree.
okay. So
Okay.
how many let's see here. So page 2, so you want to put it in section 3 and just add it to the end?
To number 10 or number 11.
Okay, to 10 or 11, okay. So that would be the new number 10 or 11. Okay,
Okay,
Well, so number 10 says that the town reserves the right to restrict or remove any content that is deemed in violation of this policy, and then add, you may not misrepresent the town. Just put that
oh,
paragraph.
sure, okay, yeah.
there.
Yeah, that sounds perfect, okay. So this will be in 10. No, that's a good idea. Okay,
anything else?
No.
no,
Uh-oh,
nope,
we may have another policy.
I know, geez, we're just,
So with those changes, I'm glad to make a motion to approve our new social media policy.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, this will, sir?
So this is the 8-page long one?
Yes, this is the one that came from Copeland and Page.
Now, this brings up an issue, and I think this is another one that will go out for the 10-day comment period. All right. It was brought to my attention this evening, there has been some confusion that when these go out, people are confusing when it's an official document. And in truth, it's not an official document until we've checked back after 10 days.
Right.
And haven't changed it. So I think some of those documents went out with notice of amendment on it.
Well, one of them was an amended policy that you'd already done. Same thing, 10 days. The
so-
only ones that are outstanding now are the Cory policy, I think is the only one that's in the 10-day.
I think and I have on the agenda, so we're gonna circle back to that in a minute. I did have on the agenda, questioning whether there had been any comments on the disciplinary guidelines document. Have you heard
No,
anything?
No, that, and now you're right, that is in the loop as well, no.
And the employment application?
The employment application is not something that has
Okay.
to go out for 10-day comment. I have it done, but it doesn't have
So I
to
think
go out.
disciplinary, we did last week, didn't we? We finished that, so
No, I think that was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? It was more than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it
been
was.
out for a
It's
while.
been out for a
It's been
while.
hanging on the board for a while. I'm not exactly sure the dates. I should have it in front of me, but I don't. It's on the
so
computer.
I guess,
It's on last week's minutes,
Oh, is it?
yes.
Okay,
as-
so then
as
that
being
got published
approved?
during this coming week.
It just says disciplinary guidelines policy. So that's what we worked on last week.
vote,
And we
made
had-
motion.
I voted to adopt it,
Okay,
yes.
so we're
Wow,
still within
okay,
the 10-day
okay.
comment period. So that'll, we'll need to check on that again
Mm-hmm.
next time. I think my point being that maybe we just have to be careful when we send these out. You now have the list to send out to everyone,
Yeah.
right? So I think maybe these documents have to go out with a clear draft on it or something like that. And then the document that's the approved document goes out. I think maybe better not using the words notice of amendment. Town clerk was having some trouble with that and,
They're also not, they're not really a policy until we give them to the employees. I mean, we're formulating this and
Right.
they're, we've agreed that this is what we want the policy to be. But until we actually hand it to the employees, they read it, they sign off on it, it's not a policy. No one has to follow these until,
Well, I mean, it is a policy, but they have deniable plausibility in not following the policy if it's not, although it did go out and everybody got it by mail, so.
So let's leave all those on the table because there's kind of parallel conversations. Because the one other piece was apparently there's been some question that some of these things do not apply to elected officials.
Some of them would.
You know,
Correct.
like our hiring policy. And what it
Correct.
makes me feel like is that we may be getting the point where we have to look at that table of contents, and there may have to be not a disqualifier, but an explanation that some of these policies apply to everyone. Open meeting law, sexual harassment. Some of these apply only where appropriate, elected official versus hired official. So I think that's one thing that we're gonna need to work on, and as we get closer to having one place where everything is. Sir?
There's an introduction that actually explains all of that, so we're
Right.
probably at the point where we should throw that all out, and that's kind of an overview, an introduction, an overview, mission statement, all of that gets explained before any policies go out. So I will forward that to the board, and you
Good.
can kind of run through that one, and that will establish it. But it does specify in the, it specifies that these are not, the policies do not apply to public safety personnel because they have their own code and their own policies. And we can add whatever else you'd like in there, I mean, sometimes
So,
it's.
and I think that's the point that maybe when we have this all together and the comment period on everything will be over by the next time we meet. It'll be time to look at the whole document and see what holes we have. And it, again, recognizing now we have about 6 balls in the air, it did occur to me that maybe after that next meeting, whether we wanted to at least consider if we could keep it under control to have town council just run through it.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. I mean, a
Most-
lot of it came from them.
It did. I mean, I've done this recently in the private sector and suddenly ran through $10,000 in no time. And that's definitely what we don't want to do.
Right.
That'll be definitely what will happen. because
Well,
You give them a document to review and it's a letter, I mean, and generally the charge is $175. If you give them a 14 or an 18 or a 30-page document, you're-
maybe if this were phrased more, the piece that I'm really concerned about is usually there's a legalese disclaimer at the beginning of these things, and at least in the private sector, it's usually reminding employees that they are all hired at will, that is, that they all can be terminated at any point. And I think maybe, I don't think we even have to decide on this tonight, but and maybe I can work on framing the nature of the request to the lawyer that to ask the question, is there something major we're missing that's putting us at risk, rather than to deal with all.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd need to review what they've already given us,
Yeah.
but if we have come up with, things that weren't vetted by them, it may not be a bad idea, but, yeah, I mean, we can wait and see.
Yeah, wait until we have the document
Yeah,
complete and.
right, then we'll take a
And
look
we
at
can
it.
ask them to review the
Yep.
intro.
And I just wanted to leave that out there as just, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that piece. The intro, I think, is the real important piece, because there will be language that probably should be in there. All right, now that we put all those balls in the air, I think, well, and I suppose collected in that, maybe by next meeting, all of us will look again at the table of contents and see.
And
Alright.
Dale
I'll
will
forward
have the
you
intro
new- I have a
to
new-
us.
I mean,
You'll
I
get
did a
that
new,
too.
a current
Okay.
table of contents
All
that
right.
says when you
Town
passed
council.
whatever it was and what they are. Nothing's really been arranged as an actual
Okay,
table of contents.
Okay,
all right, we okay on all that?
yeah, we're okay.
And this is the
Progress.
application,
Great.
just
Onward.
With the
Thank
changes that
you.
you would,
Oh, it's got the seal on there, perfect.
yeah.
The appropriate
Just
loose of
trademark
sign?
the word seal,
Yeah,
since that's what
exactly.
it is.
Okay, this is
These were
it?
the corrections that you made last week, there's changes that you made last week, there's some language that came out of the signature clause at the end, we added cell phone, which wasn't on there. I'm trying to think, I think those were the only real major changes. And
Yeah, and I
then-
think you got rid of social security where it was.
Yeah, we got rid of
Good.
social security number. Anyway,
Very
that's all
good.
been done, and it's, I mean, if you want to accept that as the one, I can just print it and send it to everybody.
Okay, I waved this in front of
Yeah,
everyone's
it's,
eyes.
if it's the document we talked about last week, then
Thank
yeah,
you,
it's
Dale,
good to
thank you
go.
for doing that, beautiful. Nice work. Discuss number of liquor licenses in town, as I
All right,
understand
this
it.
was mine, yeah,
Yeah.
I actually, Betty from Tom Coulter's office organized a conference call with Ralph Sacramone, who is the executive director of, the ABCC, because we received a memo that I found really confusing. And what it did was, it went 5-store limit increase effective January 1st, 2006. So the number had gone from 5, I believe 5 to 7. But the bottom line here is that what this is, it does not change the number of liquor licenses each town has. What it does is large liquor stores can now have, they used to just be able to have 3, now they can have 5 in multiple towns. So, you know, if a town's got a license available and say Halifax Liquors wanted to expand, then they could go from 3 to 5.
So
So-
Plimpton is the same.
Yeah, well, every town is the same. This is actually for the people that own the
the
liquor
business,
stores. Yes, so they used to just be able to have 3, they can now have 5, and in 2020, it's gonna go up to 7. So the large liquor store chains can, you know, increase the number of stores they have. So that's what that was about.
Okay.
Okay. Solar updates.
I have on the PPA with, we're talking lawyers again, our redlined addition from our lawyer has gone to their lawyers, and now they're going about it and relining it, and it's going back and forth in any event, so, and everybody's bills are going up, but that's the status. You would ask me to check on that, and,
Okay.
the other,
And that's for which property?
that is for the Mattapoisett
Oh,
power
good.
purchase agreement with the.
And the host money, do we have the host money?
And the host
yet?
money is also in the works. I haven't seen it come in yet, but sometimes that does take some time to do it, so. And that's basically the status. There were 2 other, I had heard from one of the developers for 2 other solar sites in town, and, you know, he wanted to get on board and start talking about pilot agreements and all of that, and I said, well, wait until I think we met to mention that. So I said, well, you know, once you go through the planning board and you get your, you know, your special permit and all of that in line, then we can talk about that, because none of that's been done yet, so he was
Okay.
sort of jumping the gun.
Okay. All right. Goals and priorities.
Yeah, we just go down the list.
Okay.
Colleen, anything to report on Public Safety Building Committee?
Sorry. Not really, we're just trying to move forward. We've asked Dale for some more information about the modular police building. And then, you know, thinking about siting and how we can adjust that. And then I had, this is sort of an aside, but part of that. I had reason to print out part of the assessor's map today and noticed that we actually have some land beyond the town barns that the town already owns, and it's not wetland according to our assessor's map. So I did ask Dale to go down and take a look at that to see if that would be a possible site. So it's still up in this general area. This would be looking for the fire station for the future. Still in this general area, but not right here on the hill.
How big's the parcel?
Well, it's part of the town barn parcel right there. It looks to me like the land that's not wetlands is at least 3 acres or more. Not including what is already in use and future use for the town barn.
Interesting. Did you?
I'll take a
did
look
you
at
ta-
it.
oh,
The only,
okay.
I mean, the real way to do it is actually have the engineers take a look at it, but it is down there, and I mean, it may be a perfectly viable site. It's certainly, if there's 3 acres or 4 acres there, 3.5 acres, that's certainly enough to site a future fire station on.
And it's a straight stretch of road, it's clear view
Mhm.
in either direction.
So it's beyond the town barn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So isn't that, it looks like a good part of that's wetlands.
yeah, you can see the little dots that indicate wetlands, but then there's about 3 acres oddly shaped that is not,
This piece in here.
yeah.
That triangle is closest to the road?
Uh-oh. This requires special optics. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's worth
All
checking
right.
out.
So
Worth checking
This
out,
has
yeah.
not been brought before, this
Yeah.
is just something I saw today, so I will discuss this with the committee next meeting. But
When is your next meeting?
next meeting is next Thursday, the 30th,
Okay,
next Wednesday, the 30th.
next
sorry,
Wednesday, the 30th.
At
Okay.
6 o'clock in this room.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Dale, how you coming with a fixed costs spreadsheet?
I'm still working on it. I should be able to have that for you fairly soon. So,
Okay.
Again, that's a little bit harder because fixed costs don't stay fixed.
Okay. No, they don't. You're right. You're right. Okay. So what do you think? Maybe early January? Mid-January?
Oh, yeah, probably early January, I
Okay.
think, unless something else intervenes, but it should
Okay.
be early January.
Okay, awesome. All right, DOR financial tasks, that's all on hold until we get working with this community compact. Progressive discipline, we did that. Job descriptions, you said we needed to break out job descriptions from some of these contracts. Maybe we can work on that after the first of the year if
Yeah, I
things
think
start to
so,
slow
and
down a
I
little bit.
think we need to probably go to department heads and actually get some job descriptions, you know, say, just ask them to put together job descriptions that
Okay.
work. I mean, there are some from, they're all pretty similar, all the towns have them, a lot of towns have them. And they're pretty similar in every town, maybe we can, you know, work off of that, use that as a template, but, well, I mean, we have some, and like I said, some are contained in, inside of people's contracts, inside of employee contracts, so I would just pull them out, and that way in the contract, you're just referencing that job description.
Well, it would make sense to have the people that are doing the jobs actually come up with the job descriptions for the ones that you're
Mhm.
missing. So maybe after you start your department meetings.
Yeah.
can talk about
okay,
it then.
all right, and we're searching for dates on that now, we'll probably be sometime in early January.
All right, town email, I did not have a chance to fire mine up yet. Did you, Mark? Is yours working?
I'm struggling a little less with the technology and more with me.
Okay.
Dealing with it, but we're moving in that direction.
Dale, could you email me what my username is and my password so I can try it?
Oh, sure. I
Okay,
didn't realize.
that would be
Yep, will
awesome.
do.
Let's see here, Corey policy, we're just waiting to get the language back from Alana on that. Parsonage Road, sold.
Sold. pretty well known that it's a local buyer and moving forward with farming, other possibilities, probably a pretty good solution so far. I think actually, I wonder if we can't cross that one off
Yep,
for
let's
the
get rid of
time
that.
being.
Well, we can probably get rid of quite a few of these.
Yeah, and then a couple more further up I was
The
gonna bring up.
The progressive discipline.
Corey, I think we're.
Yeah, well, Corey, we're waiting to hear back from council because there was a little bit of language that was
Right.
missing at the
Yeah.
bottom.
I mean, if you want, I mean, I have that under our policy.
Okay, let's get rid of
you know,
that.
Just clean this up a little bit.
Okay, let's see, what else do we have?
Um,
Is that it for now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next thing is the community compact, which we talked about today, and we agreed that we're gonna go with the proposal that we received. It's kind of a segue into what we had talked about with me applying for the regionalization.
Yep,
And I was not able to apply for a regionalization community compact because we had already applied for one. And I didn't realize at the time you could only apply for one. So in the meantime, the Old Colony Planning Council put together a Delta, what is it? Let's see here. District Local Technical Assistance Funding, which had some of the, well, it has all the community compact projects. They've got housing, planning for growth, and regionalization. So where you guys had authorized me to apply for the regionalization, I did the same thing with the Old Colony Planning Council. I put together a paragraph applying for this, and I emailed it to you guys, and if it's all right, I would make a motion to have Mark sign this document, because this has to be to the Old Colony Planning Council by January 30th for us to apply for this regionalization best practices assistance from them.
I would enthusiastically support that.
Okay.
I think we discussed it before, but in the big sense, there's so many things on that list, including even public safety, that would be useful to get information on and to get a clear understanding, and I salute your energy in moving this along, because if anything's gonna save us in our financial long run, if anything's gonna keep our tax rate moderate, it's gonna come out of this, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I agree. All right,
Is that the regionalized best practices?
yes.
Couple edits?
We can certainly make any changes you want. I can email it to Bree or to Dale. I wasn't sure if you wanted to leave the herding cats in there, but I thought that was,
Did I miss that?
oh, no, does
No,
this
that's a
say?
different one, maybe that's.
Oh, okay, all right, all right, let me
But I
read
did
it to
see
you.
that, yes.
Okay, the town of Plimpton is working with the towns of Kingston, Halifax, and Carver to explore regionalization, shared services, and collective purchasing opportunities. Our communities have a history of successfully implementing shared opportunities demonstrated by our school system, cable television studios, capital expenditure programs, and shared inspectional services. Regionalization, shared services, and collective purchasing has been a longstanding priority with the Plimpton Board of Selectmen, who realize this is an underutilized opportunity for the town to provide equal or better services to our residents while keeping within budgetary constraints. The idea of shared services and collective purchasing was discussed during a joint meeting with the finance committees from Halifax, Plimpton, and Kingston, members of the Plimpton Board of Selectmen, and representatives from the Halifax Board of Selectmen. Plimpton Selectmen attempted to initiate discussions with our three neighboring towns, which proved to be a laborious task, likened to herding cats. The towns are interested in working together, but are unsure how to start the process and would benefit from the guidance and direction of the Old Colony Planning Council. The town was not eligible to apply for the Regionalization Best Practices Community Compact because the Commonwealth generously awarded us a grant for financial management best practices, another area of opportunity critical to the successful financial management of the town. We hope to have the opportunity to work with Old Colony Planning Council on this important multi-town initiative with the potential for substantial cost savings and improved services to the residents of our communities.
Great.
So that Is that okay?
If
there's anything you wanna
Some of this is,
You may have already changed some of it.
this is, I'm in the middle, as always, but this is Colleen's, some of
may
this is
have
cut.
changed
You changed a
it.
fair amount of it, but,
Yep,
you wanna just
Okay.
scan that and see?
Okay, so 3, we
Should-
spell it out as 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's just,
okay,
tough.
that's perfect.
And community
Let's just make-
compact that frequently shows up, this is the,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's the computer
Yeah, that's
company,
compact
isn't
the
it?
computer. Okay, how about if you sign the document
Sure.
and then we can edit what we send in so we don't miss the deadline.
All right,
you wanna see
authorized
it?
signature,
So that's gonna be you, Mark.
okay, that's me.
You'll
Um,
send that to me and then it'll be a trail.
Exactly.
This is so
To
exciting.
me and then I'll,
Um,
to you.
What am I, chair?
I'll email this to you and then I'm gonna give you Colleen's changes.
why don't you just make, I think that you made some of them, so why don't you just,
Okay, well, I misspelled compact,
yeah,
so,
you spelled the
So-
computer.
all right.
There
So I'll
that
take a look
goes.
at this at the end and I'll give you a clean, yeah.
The three FinComs and Board of Selectmen are meeting February 4th, I think. And
Okay.
this will certainly want to update them on this kind of progress.
Okay.
And this will dovetail with what the admin
Very well.
coordinators are doing. This is really, really good stuff.
All right.
All right, okay?
All right, so that, yeah, that was, I think, all that, that I had, yeah, okay.
I'll take your task sheet.
Okay. Um,
I'll have to take that.
Oh, you want this? Yep,
Okay, you're
Perfect.
done with that list?
done with that.
All right, so I just wanted to mention, because this is under board goals and priorities and sort of a subcategory of the regionalization, as I did attend the municipal aggregation meeting last Friday. Great meeting, 10 of the maybe 15 communities in that group showed up. Nice presentation, and the bottom line is, the group voted to move forward, which the next step, which is hiring a consultant aggregator. And there are about 6 companies that do this. The big debate was whether to put it out for an RFP or just hire someone. Either one was gonna be just fine. The group in its wisdom felt like, to avoid any confusion whatsoever, they put it out for an RFP. The aim, though, is to have a consultant within 1 or 2 months. The really good piece of that is they guide us through the process. We would have to end up with a town meeting warrant article. As I understand it, they would help in educating the public. Bottom line being, if this all happens, average household would save about $70 a year on electric. Anyone could opt in or opt out at any point. As best I can see, this is a no-brainer along the way. So that is moving ahead. And so the next thing we'll hear probably is that an aggregator has been chosen. Then they'll probably meet us, with us. They'll guide all the towns through the whole process.
All right, I read the RFP and there's a couple of typos in here. So can you get these to Eric?
I can.
Yeah, one of them, yeah, was just the wrong word they used. And then on this renewable energy, is that all solar combined in all of these towns? Is that what they're gonna do? Do you know? Any idea? I can give you my notes.
Okay. Anyone that has a contract already will continue with that contract.
Okay.
People that have solar and are selling electricity to the power company will continue to be able to do that and would just get the favorable rate
Okay.
on the portion that they're paying for.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Well, it says, at the request of the participating communities, the consultant shall assist in assessing the viability of the development of local renewable energy infrastructure in conjunction with the energy aggregation. This includes the integration of locally produced electricity to offset the total purchase of the aggregation electricity supply. So are they combining all the solar, or is it gonna be town by town?
My guess it would be town by town, but it's the reason that we need the consultant, because they're gonna be
Okay.
able to answer this
Okay,
question.
yeah, so you can just keep that.
And in addition, Blue Wave, if the Lake Street project goes through, had said something about that electricity being available to the residents.
Mhm.
So how was that affecting
And
that?
this was discussed a little, and it wasn't completely clear, other than what I said, that the degree to which people are buying electricity, additional electricity, it would be at the lower rate. And there was general consensus, especially moving ahead as quickly as possible, because this stuff is insanely complex, and it will be the aggregator that'll help us with it. I will get this to Eric. Whether this has already gone out or not, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I
Um,
think there was a thing about having comments,
Um,
or maybe not, maybe this has already gone. If it's already gone out, oh well.
I will, I'll get those to him
Okay.
first thing tomorrow morning, so
Okay.
let's hope we're getting that out. All right, so that was aggregation. I guess we're up to town coordinator report, or report on things we haven't touched on already.
I think that, yeah, I didn't, nothing, I told you that I would put together what the book was, it's so far, all the policies with the dates and a new table of contents and get that out to you. Plus, I'll also forward you the introduction language. so you
Great,
can get to
great.
working on that.
So at that point, what you'll get to us is we'll have pretty much the whole,
We'll have what you've done so far, yeah.
the whole,
Yeah.
the whole.
And, which is quite a bit. And the other, I received an email this morning, VTS, Virtual Town and School, who hosts our website and everybody else's in Massachusetts, has, I guess contracted, inked an affiliation with a company called Town Hall Streams. They're actually out of Maine. They started 5 years ago with 3 towns in Maine. They now have 50 towns in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, where, well, just read it, it's real brief. They do high quality streaming, video and audio, free installation, account setup, unlimited live streaming, 1 full year of video on demand, playback and storage, easy to use web interface. So if that, you know, when you get into doing it the other way. And I did look, did some Google search on it, some of the towns that have gotten it are, you know, a couple $100 a month. So it would probably be $2,400 to $3,000 addition.
I'm sorry,
And it
honestly,
would-
my mind wandered. Could you say again what they do?
They provide you all of the equipment, cameras, all of that kind of stuff, and the interface and the automatic hookup so you can record any meetings that you want. And live stream them on the internet and obviously,
Wow.
and store them.
All right,
And
so,
it's unlimited live streaming, live event streaming. So,
so that would be something. Can you get me a copy of that I can check in with Studio 58? Because
Yeah.
we have funding already from Comcast in terms of the capital funds each year to do some of that. So I don't know how it
this
relates.
would be in addition to what Studio 58 is already doing. In other words, they could live stream it as well if they, you know,
Okay.
same hookup.
All right, well, can you get a
But
copy
it just,
to me?
it seems like a good way to go if you're gonna do it rather than,
All right. If you could get a copy to me, because the
Yeah,
next
I'll-
Board of Directors is next week, and I'd
Yeah.
like to at least present that to them.
what I'll do is I'll forward you the email that I got and the
Wasn't sure what you
website
wanted
for
to
this,
do
for this
on that last
company,
part.
and you can kind of go on and look at some of the towns and some of the things. They
Great.
have school committees in towns all over, but in any event, it just is food for
Good.
thought.
Thank you.
And everything else I had to say, you've already bounced off of earlier, so.
Okay.
Thank you for your efforts. We are up to correspondence.
Okay, from the Plimpton Planning Board, a notice of, it's regarding a site plan review. This is a decision and conditions of approval for, to John Norrie. And it says, this is to inform the planning board, the meeting when they held it, the following vote was taken on a motion made. The board voted to issue site plan approval with conditions under zoning bylaw section 6.10 on the application of Clean Energy Collective LLC out of Louisville, Colorado. So it looks like they did vote to issue site plan approval, and this is another solar project, correct? Okay.
That's fine.
All right, then from the chief, Pat Dillon, please find a draft copy of the personal services contract for Sergeant Stephen Terry. It's essentially the same as Sergeant Cranshaw's agreement, except for the clothing allowance to be at the same level as the patrolman's contract. Sergeant Terry and myself have reviewed and agreed on the terms of this agreement. All right, looks like it's been signed. Do you know, did council or anybody take a look at this, or did he get any?
I think I spoke to the chief briefly today, and I think it's very similar to the one we did previously.
Yeah, it said, it's the same as
Um,
Sergeant Cranshaw's,
Yeah,
except there was an clothing allowance increase. So was the one that Sergeant Cranshaw, that we signed with him, did that, I'm sure it must have been approved by council, or reviewed.
I can't say that definitively. I'm comfortable that it's been checked out.
Okay. All right, so you wanna make a motion that we
Are you making?
sign, I can make a motion that we assign the employment agreement between the town of Plimpton and Stephen M. Terry, Police Sergeant.
I second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and this is, let's see, commencing February 1st, 2016 for a period of 3 years, ending January 31st, 2019. So
Okay.
just to have that in the minutes.
Are we all signing this?
Yep, all three of us need to sign that.
All right, so let's get that one done.
Okay, and then, Town of Plimpton Police Department employee change notice, I'm not sure. Year 3 of contract, employee name Brian Cranshaw. I'm not sure what this is.
These come up once in a while, and something comes up that, says year 3 of contract. That's the reason for the change, that the third year of the contract,
Is he, so we have 2 sergeants now?
yes.
Okay.
I think that's true.
All right, I didn't realize we had 2, I thought we just had 1. Okay, all right, so he is a current sergeant. Looks like he got his master's degree and is, entitled to a little bump in pay as a result.
Exactly.
Okay,
I make a motion this employee change notice be approved.
all right,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
all right, so it looks like that one's just signed by you.
yep. So actually, so we don't lose it, this one we'll get right back to Bree.
Okay,
This one, we're gonna ask you to sign.
okay, all right, and that's the one for Officer Terry. Okay, and then lastly, the Plimpton Halifax Express. Brief, bizarre, and dramatic. It's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The interesting thing, posting for pets. That was nice. You gave that top billing so that people who have lost pets in Plimpton can work with our animal control officer, Frank Bush, to get out pictures and descriptions of their animals. And I think that
Oh,
was,
don't forget, if you smell gas, act fast.
oh, if you smell gas, act fast. Yes. Oh, I didn't even see that. If you smell gas, act fast. From National Grid. Yes. Very good. Okay. And that's it. Nice picture of the Girl Scouts. And they are from Plimpton. That's nice. Very nice. Great job.
Okay.
That's it.
So there was one more correspondence, I think it was in our individual boxes, which were annual report, which, for the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, that maybe Bree can start working on. Did you get this?
Yeah, it's,
It's probably
Oh,
part of the
that's-
full document.
yeah, it's just the annual report we have to do, which just tells the number of licenses we have, if there was any violations. It just kind of recaps 2015.
So you- can we send this over to Bree to try to?
I have it.
Okay,
I copied
go
it
for it.
You.
Thank you. All right,
Perfect.
So you're
I knew
working
that you
on
were
that.
working with them. I thought you wanted every document.
okay,
Great.
yep.
Thank
You're
you.
working on that, and we understand that there is a February 15th deadline.
My question was, is this something new, or do they always do
You do it every year,
it? Okay, so that should be okay.
yeah.
It's gonna be something
Okay.
new.
There's probably an old one for you to look at in the file. Yeah,
I'll provide you with one.
You know, and at worst, if that's a little hard to pick up, I bet,
you can call Kristen.
Kristen,
Yeah,
she's the
absolutely.
girl.
Okay, next meetings, mercifully, unless something comes up, please know, we get next Monday off for a little bit of time for the holidays. And then our next meetings would be January 4th, January 11th, and January 25th. That would give us Columbus Day off and a little break. This can actually be.
Columbus
Columbus
Day.
Day.
Damn, how about, I always get Columbus and Martin Luther King confused.
Such similar individuals, right?
I think that's Mother's Day.
Oh, right. So sorry.
Art.
I think it's now
you know-
Indigenous Peoples' Day, actually.
What is it?
Indigenous Peoples' Day. I think the state of Maine just changed it to that.
Oh, good for them. All right, and public safety, we know is meeting next, is December 30th.
I'm not
We're
going
not
to.
sure when the next one after that is.
No.
Okay. And we, Board of Selectmen, our next meeting on January 4th will, hopefully it'll be brief, but we'll have a quick executive session to go over some land things.
5:30?
Yeah, if that's all right with everyone. And just in that regard, in preparation for that, this is a map that I will have a copy made that maybe we could be dealing with. This one was from Old Colony Planning Council, actually, but I thought maybe in reviewing some of the stuff, it's that large-scale thing that we were talking about that would be
Perfect.
kinda nice. The plots aren't, or the individual properties aren't numbered, but I think we can figure it out.
Ballpark.
And it'll just give us that overview. So I'll have this copied and we can sort of keep it as our document to
Great.
work off of.
That's perfect.
You could add those parcels that you're looking for to that. You could add those parcels and number them and put them right on that.
And that's
Make a couple
exactly-
of extra copies
so-
and give me one of them, and then I will, you know, if you wanna know where the town-owned parcels are, that's gonna be the best overview to do it.
And in fact, I will get you your copy this week, and then if you could do the town-owned parcels, that would really help us.
That would be
And
outstanding.
If by chance
Easier
you
than doing them on the individual assessor
Yeah.
sheets, because it won't.
And if we could have them for that executive session, that would, which is 2 weeks from now, I know you have a fair amount on your plate, but if you could do that, that I think would make it much, much easier
Do you
to
want
work
a
on.
hard copy or you want an electronic copy? Do you want both?
I'll get them a hard copy.
Okay,
I
but I
don't-
wonder if we can get a digital copy of this.
Well, they'll give you, usually they'll give you the digital copy along with making the hard copies,
So-
but
This is
just-
May 2009.
So in the interest of time, I'll get a hard copy
Yeah, get a hard
for
copy,
now.
but it'd be nice
Um,
to get a,
Yeah, for the purpose of town-owned land, really nothing's changed since 2009, I don't believe.
Okay.
It's a little
Okay.
bit before my time.
perfect.
So that take care of dates to remember. It is Christmas, the end of this week, in case anyone forgot. And let's go to minutes. Now, I don't
I
think
dropped
we-
the ball on the executive session, sorry
Okay.
about that. I
No
thought I
pro-
did them.
no problem.
I'll have to do that next time.
Actually, truly no problem, because they will be
We'll be,
confidential
yeah,
for
we'll
a
be in
while.
an executive session anyway.
All right, minutes for December 14th, last Monday night. I had on page one, the petitions were not only for Finance Committee to be filmed, but also for Public Safety to be filmed.
Yeah,
Um,
2 petitions signed by some residents to have.
And whether we wanted to continue the private citizen or put the name
I would just say
in.
John Henry.
Okay, I think that makes sense. in
Drop
this
it
case.
off, 2 petitions.
Yep.
Yeah, to have those
Okay.
signed.
And that's all I have.
I had, under board goals, under public safety building, I had, to discuss the proposed police station rather than the new police station.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right, I have a messy copy here, it's probably not easy to give
All
over.
right, mine's pretty, pretty good. Under town coordinator, I had, under multi-town opportunities available, I think that was referring to the regionalization meeting, wasn't that, Dale? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would just spell out, regionalization meeting, multiple town opportunities available, so it kind of gives you a sense of where that came from.
Yep.
And that's all I had.
All right, so could you be the copy that goes to
Sure.
Bree and me
Yeah.
for change?
So we're gonna say John Henry
And I didn't,
Yeah.
dropped off two
Two
petitions.
And include the public safety board.
Petitions
That's it.
from residents to have meetings of the finance committee and public safety building committee. Public.
so I'll make a motion that the minutes from last week be approved as amended.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um,
Committee found, okay.
So it'll be a new year when we come back. Any comments? We'll go around. Bree, anything you'd like to say?
Thank you for a great year.
All right.
Good
Ms.
night.
Joy?
I just would wish everyone, Merry Christmas and, a Happy New Year, safe and Happy New Year. And, we're here for you and, we work for the townspeople and we certainly, realize it's a temporary job for all of us and, that, we're all here to do the best job we possibly can for all of you. And if you have concerns, please share them with us. We all have a kind of an open door policy where, we're happy to hear what you've got to say.
Just Happy New Year, and I would again encourage everyone to come to a meeting if you can. It's good to see your faces, it's good to get, excuse me, immediate interaction from you, particularly from my point of view for the public safety. Thank you, Mr. Art. And, if there's some senior citizen that would like to come to a meeting and needs a ride, I would happily find somebody to give you a lift. I mean, we're gonna do the taping, but your presence here is just really nice, so.
Thanks for the opportunity to serve, and thanks for the wonderful town that we have the chance to serve, and much joy and well-being through the rest of the year and through the new year. Good night, everyone. Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Merry Christmas.
Thank